It was the first day of summer and I was quadding with my stepbrother. We were out by the road and my stepdad was coming home from the field. We decided to drive in the ditch to keep up with him, and the last thing I remember is losing control of the quad and it being really bumpy and rough. The quad tire hooked onto a culvert and sent me flying about 60 feet into the air, and the quad landed right beside me. My stepdad called the ambulance and they said they were coming from Tagaski, but they came from Moose Shot and got lost. By the time they got to me, I had already been laying in the ditch for over an hour. It made it worse for me because the girl and the boy that were taking me to the hospital were getting a divorce, so they were arguing the whole time. And to top it off, he was allergic to alfalfa. And I was laying in a hayfield. They wouldn't touch me in Moose Jaw, so they sent me to Regina. Once Regina had me settled in for the night, they planned on doing surgery the next day on my shoulder because it had snapped, so I needed to get pins in it. They didn't find out till the next day, but when I was in so much pain, they looked me over and found out I had fractured my vertebrae. They called it the C3, and also I wasn't breathing well because they found out I had broken ribs and a punctured lung. After surgery, they had me settled in a room, and I was going to be there for a few weeks. Probably the worst way to spend my summer, laying in a hospital bed. But the day nurse was super nice, and the night nurse was not so nice. There was 2 beds and 2 couches in the room, and she refused to let my dad sleep on it to keep it stale in case someone else had to come stay in the same room. The upsetting news was that I would no longer be able to go back into dance after the summer. Also, I had to watch the July 1st fireworks from a hospital window while I was sitting in a wheelchair. My dad and brother spent a lot of time in there with me when they should have been in the field. And my uncle is definitely my favorite because he would always sneak me in some candy when nobody else was around. When I was allowed out of the hospital, there was a couple weeks of summer left and my family had planned a trip to Jam Lake. It kind of sucked for me because I could only fish with one arm and I was scared of the water when we were in the little boat. Plus, I was gibbled. Here's a picture of me before we went on our trip. My shoulder was still really sore. I still enjoyed some of the trip. I got to feed a little squirrel right out of my hand. I had to use an ice fishing rod too, but I just let it out in the water and then I forgot about it. And when we left, the hook caught onto the propeller and I thought I caught a really big fish. I couldn't go in the water all the way, obviously, but I got to cool my feet off and I had really bad tan. My brother was the only one I trusted around my arm because my stepbrother once accidentally hit it and because me and my brother are close like that. To this day, I still get pains in not just my shoulder but my neck too. It's going to suck a lot for me when I keep getting older and it just keeps getting worse. But I'm thankful for all my family and friends who supported me and helped me get through it.